With the 30th anniversary of Monday Nitro recently passed, we all look back on the brief but memorable run it had with all of the matches, wrestlers, and significant moments or even personal memories that come with it. The good, the bad, and the new blood, make of that last one as you will, all play a part as to why this particular wrestling program is still talked about for both better and worse after so many years. Nitro was such a sensation and success for both WCW and especially for TNT, it would be used to help fill in a particular gap for the network's schedule during a very concerning time for sports coverage with the NBA Lockout taking place. 2 one-hour special episodes would emanate on a Tuesday night each, giving fans more action on top of what they already got the night before. This video covers the details of these unique editions of Nitro to see if they're both worthy of being mentioned within the incredible history of WCW's Monday Night Television show, or if it's better left as a forgotten and underwhelming piece of content from World Championship Wrestling. So let's watch 2 of the more forgotten nights in the history of our sport. This is WCW Nitro Extra. The reason for the extra Nitro stems from the summer of 1998 when the third NBA Lockout began and would alter the upcoming season. The reason for this was a dispute between team owners and the National Basketball Players Association over control of player salaries cap as well as setting what the minimum salary should be. Failed negotiations and stalled talks shortened the amount of games and would not be resolved until the following January. 2 of the scheduled games that were affected during this period were set to take place on TNT in November, and with no games to fill in those empty time slots, the network would look to its top wrestling show for assistance. Despite already having 3 hours of Monday Nitro, WCW would have to tape a bonus hour of matches to air on the 10th and 24th. The first Nitro Extra takes place at the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York, as Tony Schiavone, Mike Tenay, and Bobby the Brain Heenan hype up Goldberg defending the WCW Championship tonight against Meng.
I wish we could do Nitro 7 days a week, 7 nights a week. Meng, the uncontrollable monster.
Our opening contest features Al Dundee of the LWO taking on Rey Mysterio Jr., with Dundee cutting Rey off once he enters the ring. Tony mentions Eddie's attempts to recruit Rey into his faction in recent weeks, while the Masked Man fights back with an arm drag, head scissors, and rebound spinebuster. Al Dundee gets placed onto the top turnbuckle for Mysterio to nail the Hurricane Rana, with the finish possibly botched as some of the LWO run in a bit late to cause the disqualification before Billy Kidman runs in for the save, only to dropkick Rey by accident. Billy and Rey clear the ring before continuing their bickering as Kidman heads up the ramp while Mysterio remains conflicted. Quite the way to start off this extra hour of Nitro, but hopefully things improve from here. We get a recap from last night where Rick Steiner chose Judy Bagwell as his new tag team partner and tag team champion while confronting her son Buff and Scott Steiner to build up a title match for World War III, which doesn't take place. Sick Boy arrives next to tackle his former flock member Perry Saturn. Both guys sharing some words after the bell as Perry's superkick gives him the advantage. Saturn blocks a rebound attack to nail the overhead belly-to-belly, but gets caught off and hit with a springboard missile dropkick. Sick Boy continues to attack and choke out his opponent instead of going for the cover, and this almost costs him when Perry tries to fight back but quickly takes back control when nailing the springboard elbow. After the final cut, Sick Boy goes for the dirty pin but gets caught by Scott Dickinson, with the two arguing and allowing Perry to catch his breath, execute the T-bone suplex, and fly with a massive top rope elbow drop. This match comes to an end with the Death Valley Driver and the Reigns of Saturn to make Sick Boy submit before quickly going to commercial. We return to see the Nitro Girls in the ring as this segues to Disco Inferno heading down to cut a promo.
What I'd like everybody to do right now is to shake the hand of the person sitting next to you, because tonight, New York, you people set a record. That's right. You have set a record for the most scumbags in one building at the same time, so give yourselves a hand. Now for the rest of the millions of the Disco Inferno fans on this planet and throughout the galaxy, let's hit my music, Daddy-O!
Fortunately for us, Disco's encore is interrupted by his opponent, Booker T. Tony lets us know that WCW NWO Revenge is doing incredible numbers after its recent release, and it's worthy of that success, with the former World TV Champion starting things off via a tie-up. Book gets the fans to raise the roof while gaining momentum via some strikes and a flying forearm. The sidekick connects, causing Disco to briefly retaliate as Tony and Mike confront Heenan about his favorite to win the 60-man Battle Royal.
Who's your favorite tonight to win the World War III, Brent?
Diamond Dallas.
Diamond Dallas?
Yeah.
Diamond Dallas?
Yes.
Diamond Dallas is injured right now. You said last night, Big Papa Pump.
I never said that.
Didn't he say that,
Of course he didn't. He was just talking about Booker T. What are you going to try and do? Name all 60 guys before we get to the pay-per-view?
No, I didn't say Big Papa Pump last night.
The truth is you don't know.
Well, no one knows, but
No
I
one
have a
knows,
right to
but
guess.
you don't even have a clue, as a matter of fact, who's going to win it on the 22nd of
I
this
just
month.
told you Stevie Ray's going to win it.
You said Diamond Dallas Page.
Diamond Dallas. This is Booker T. That's the brother of Stevie Ray. I'll tell you about it later.
One half of Harlem Heat stays on top of Inferno for a few more moments until Disco hotshots him on the top rope. The running neckbreaker only gets him a 2 as he quickly follows up with the middle rope axe handle and chin lock to slow the action down. Booker escapes to get in a massive roll-up pin, but ends up back on the mat after an elbow. Disco stays more focused on dancing and taking the action back onto the mat, though Book comes back to nail the scissors kick, the spinneroonie after a back suplex, and another sidekick. Heenan continues to contradict his own World War III pick, while Disco tries to stop the comeback with an inverted atomic drop, but dives off the middle rope right into a 110th Street Slam to score the future 5-time World Champion a win on this Tuesday night. Some more moves from the Nitro Girls are shown off as our semi-main event is underway when Fit Finlay fights Steve Mongo McMichael. Finlay tries to egg the Horseman on as Mongo responds by shoving him in the ring. Fit lands some standing attacks, but gets stopped from going for a running attack in the corner as Steve drops him with a power slam.
And don't stand there drinking coffee when a man's talking to you, Davy boy!
And I finally found an excuse to use that clip. An eye poke helps the future WCW Hardcore Champion regain control and take McMichael off his feet. Finlay slams his opponent's head onto the turnbuckle before nailing the scoop slam, but Steve gets his knees up to block a Vader bomb. Mongo stomps his opponent out while the Irishman tries to fend him off, but can't stop the attacks until another eye poke does the trick. A rebound clothesline and the rolling hills seem to set up a Finlay victory until Mongo dodges another running corner attack. Steve ends up being the one to hit the Tombstone Piledriver and get himself a victory ahead of World War III. Our second and final recap from Monday goes over Hollywood Hulk Hogan announcing his candidacy for the US election in 2000, with Brain even pointing out Hulk wanting to outdo Jesse Ventura becoming the governor of Minnesota. One final Nitro Girls routine leads to our main event of the first Nitro Extra, as the man called Meng looks to dethrone Bill Goldberg of both his undefeated streak and the big gold belt. With the streak tonight being 159-0, can't say how accurate that really is by this point, both men go through some tests of strength but can't find the edge until Goldberg throws the Face of Fear off with a strike. Meng immediately goes on offense, Irish whipping the champion into the corner before the two go for clotheslines, and Bill later telegraphs Haku's rebound dropkick. Meng tries for a sidekick to get the advantage, but as soon as Goldberg kips back up, you already know where it's going. Spear, jackhammer, cover. 160-0 to retain the World Heavyweight title, while Goldberg closes out Nitro Extra, still undefeated and awaiting his next challenger after World War III. The second Nitro Extra from the Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids, Michigan starts off with the Nitro Girls, as Tony mentions the heated brawls that Goldberg had with both his next challenger Kevin Nash and Bam Bam Bigelow the previous night. The guys also mention Hollywood Hogan being absent from World War III on Sunday, as well as his upcoming appearance on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. While our Nitro Extra opener has Kaz Hayashi going one-on-one with NWO Hollywood's Scott Norton. The current IWGP Heavyweight Champion just brushes off a running dropkick from Hayashi, chops him to the mat, and ends this in 20 seconds with the power bomb. This Nitro Extra is going to be worse than the first, isn't it? Well, continuing with the action, Scott Putski faces Disco Inferno, and unlike last time, there is no scumbag record being broken according to the Inferno. Putski starts off by slamming his opponent, with Disco arm-dragging him in return, but quickly pays for trying to dance mid-match with a sit-out powerbomb. Scott attacks in the corner, as Inferno takes a cheap advantage to hit the neckbreaker and stay in control with the atomic drop and clothesline.
Have a bunch of mooches come over and eat your food and lay on your sofa and watch a lousy football game. Then there's some leftovers to take home. Horrible. Well, it's not really that way at my house, Brain. No, it's Lois's cooking. That's what makes you run for the door. Stop it. A snapmare takeover. You still stuff your turkey with Rolaids. Up on the middle turnbuckle now.
The son of Ivan fights out of two different sleeper holds and follows up with a back suplex. Putski gets in the power slam and belly-to-belly suplex, but can't stop Inferno from reversing and nailing the pile driver to get himself the victory in a well-deserved dance. Nitro Extra rolls on with Tokyo Magnum facing Chavo Guerrero Jr. and Pepe the Horse by his side. Chavo makes sure Pepe gets the best seat in the house as the two cruiserweights trade holds in the early going, ending the sequence with Chavito applying a chinlock. Shivani praises J.J. Dillon for his time as a member of the WCW Executive Committee, while Chavo Jr. dropkicks Tokyo to ringside and gallops around the ring with Pepe. Magnum gets tired of Guerrero's comedy and shows it by chopping and dropkicking him, hitting the snapmare, and proceeding to dance in similar fashion to his mentors, the Boogie Knights. Doing it again before the middle rope moonsault. A series of reversals ends with Tokyo getting knocked down after a clothesline, as Chavo takes a second to mock Magnum and the Dancing Fools. Chavo then gets some height from a corner body splash and a springboard bulldog, keeping his focus with a back suplex for a 2 count. Guerrero dropkicks Tokyo as the announcers hype the Bret Hart and DDP rematch for next Monday on Nitro, while the crowd chants for Chavo and Pepe. Tokyo attempts to fight back, only to get body slammed and be hit with an elbow, though he is able to slide under Chavo, land on his feet from a suplex attempt, and nail the jumping back kick for a near fall. The two end up fighting in front of Pepe as Tokyo dodges another body splash on the opposite side, giving Magnum a chance to hit the top rope Hurricane Rana, but Chavo holds on to the ropes and lands a tornado DDT to score the win. I guess Pepe really is a good luck charm. Stevie Ray brags about taking out Conan and the Horseman with his slapjack 24 hours earlier, but for tonight, has to deal with Van Hammer. Quite the star power for this extra Nitro, isn't there? Stevie starts laying some right hands in the corner, but Van is able to reverse and return the favor. Mike brings up Stevie and Booker's recent dissension, while Vincent gets on the apron to cut off Hammer and allow NWO Hollywood's Enforcer to take control. Stevie uses the ropes to choke Van before tossing him to the floor, with Vincent trying to get in a shot on Hammer but only provides a distraction for Stevie to attack from behind. The other half of Harlem Heat attempts a running elbow drop, only for Van Hammer to dodge while getting in the power slam and back suplex. Stevie dodges a baseball slide dropkick, letting Vincent take the bullet, and soon wrapping this match up with a big boot and his slapjack. Finishing move, that is. Prince Iaukea has to deal with a whole lot of juice next, when he faces the LWO's newest member, Juventud Guerrera. A tie-up on the ropes leads to both men trading blows and running all the ropes until Juvi hits the head scissors. He then slides under Iaukea and sways momentum until the Prince snapmares and leg drops Guerrera for a close count. The future Cruiserweight Champion is able to keep the juice grounded briefly when he later gets caught off and knocked down with a springboard dropkick. Barry Windham attacking Ric Flair on Nitro gets brought up on commentary while both men trade reversals until Prince connects with the power slam and gets a near fall off a suplex. Juvi fails to hit the sunset flip off the ropes, with Iaukea attacking just a bit below the belt and causing Juventud to crawl up the ramp. As the Prince brings him back into the ring to suplex and then apply the chin lock.
Talked to young Bobby Duncombe Jr. We asked him if he cover about his father and how he was doing, and I asked just point blank, I said, do you think the brain owes your dad any of the money?
Wait, Tony, watch this action right here.
From the payoff.
Watch the way the Prince is taking over here.
I need to bring up.
No, this is action, Tony. We can't go away from this right now. There, a big body slam.
And you remember
and he's going up top.
Iaukea goes for a top rope dive, only to get caught off as Guerrero fights back to nail the Hurricane Rana and Prince rolls him up to trade 2 counts. Juvi gets lifted over the top rope and crashes to the floor, but quickly recovers to cut off Iaukea on the top rope, though he struggles to lift him back in position when another Hurricane Rana gets the LWO member another near fall. Speaking of, Mysterio comes down to cut off Juventud and help Prince hit the springboard senton to finally end this match. Rey was able to get even tonight after Guerrero costed him the Cruiserweight title match with Kidman last night, but it almost felt like a 5th hour of Nitro just to get there. Thankfully, we have one final match left to cover. NWO Hollywood gets to close things out as Horace Hogan main events Nitro Extra, but finds himself in the path of wrath. I swear I'm trying with this. Wrath has to be frustrated after Kevin Nash ended his undefeated streak on Monday Nitro, and it's evident when he unleashes some offense onto Horace in the corner, though Horace is able to clothesline him to the outside. Hulk's nephew reverses an Irish whip into the barricade and just as quickly gets his face slammed into the rain steps. Wrath almost misses the sidewalk slam off the ropes as Vincent pops up to distract the former Atom Bomb while giving the lesser-known Hogan time to attack with a chair. And apparently there are no DQs on Nitro Extra. Great. Horace tries to use the ropes for a pin but gets caught, as Tony mentions Thunder not being on the air this week due to Thanksgiving, while Hogan tries and fails to hit a top rope dive. Wrath takes back control with a flying shoulder block and nails the meltdown to start a brand new winning streak right here tonight. Vincent even takes a meltdown for good measure as the final Nitro Extra comes to an end, and this was less than an hour of my life I'm never getting back. The only way I can describe both editions of Nitro Extra are as a case study of what World Championship Wrestling was like just when the slow decline for the company began. The first Nitro Extra wasn't stellar, but the hour flew by with the matches, recaps, and even the banter with Bobby Heenan making this a decent time to spend watching. And on the flip side, the other Nitro Extra featured the worst habits of WCW in its later years. This one was lacking of substance and importance, with the matches here not terrible, but really felt like it was to pad out the 60 minutes to tape. And through no fault of the wrestlers themselves, the lack of a higher name on the card to close out with was frankly dumbfounding, leaving me to feel like this was an extra hour of Thunder or Saturday Night instead of the company's A-show. So yeah, it's kind of understandable why Nitro Extra is a pretty small footnote in the entire show's history, and when it comes to the second hour, there's an argument that maybe it's better left to be forgotten. But much like some of the other WCW related content I've covered on the channel, this is unlikely to be put out by WWE unless it's out of the blue, and there's importance to covering the smaller gaps within WCW's history that may not be available in an official capacity. While these Tuesday night editions may not be anyone's favorite, there are elements from both shows that have helped to establish the history and legacy of Monday Nitro. Going on 3 decades since its debut, the show's remained an important chapter in professional wrestling, and will continue to be discussed for the unforgettable moments, the very questionable booking, but an incredible period of time that was once in a generation, and may rarely, if ever, happen again.